Thank you. So my hope is that the energy that we bring and the good feeling that I have from doing this in general is something that you'll feel, and then that's something that you can spread on to the people that you interact with. So having said that, let's start our class. Mm, Hold on just a moment. And I am technologically incapable of doing anything reasonable. Okay. Okay, you all see that big happy screen right there?
Yes.
All right, cool. So you can see a picture of Kelly right here. So this is our community leader welcome. What I am hoping to get out of today, I've said a little bit, but I'm hoping really that when we all get together on May 17th, we will have just an absolutely wonderful, perfect, happy day. And I hope that you all can help bring the good weather with you like we had last week. Might you be able to grab the notes off of the printer that I left there? Thank you so much. So the most important thing I think about Adapt is not that we're bringing plants to people. We're not trying to solve climate change. We're not trying to stop species extinction. Those are kind of things that, if we really understand our mission well, that will just come out of what we're doing. So that's kind of how we came up with our mission statement, which is that we exist to sustain and promote the connection between people and the land that supports us through the community co-creation of native plant and perennial food landscapes. I'm going to make a big assumption here and just guess that all of you are somewhat ecologically inclined. You either know a bit about native plants and your local ecosystems, or you know that they're important in some way and you want to learn a lot more. And that's amazing. You're already most of the way there toward making a big difference in your community. But now we have to take it to the next step, which is how do we take this ecological knowledge and understanding that we have and grow it and then give it to the people that are around us? And so we're going to work on that over the next few weeks. So, what we really seek to do in order to make that connection is to just remove whatever barriers are standing in the way of the person that we're meeting and their ability to have a deeper and more practical understanding of their local ecosystem. It is a deep belief of mine that we're all ecological beings. I mean, it doesn't have to be a belief, it's just kind of the way it is. We come from the earth, we are part of it. So the interesting thing is that we're really creative. So we've created a world in which we think we're disconnected from it when really we're not. So what can we do to help people have more of an understanding of that? And the barriers that we see are basically money, land, and time. So the money side of things, that can be pretty obvious, especially if any of you have ever, contacted a contractor to, come and check out your landscape, and they're like, "Oh, that'll be $5,000," and you're like, "Whoa, that seems like too much." So we want to immediately remove that barrier. So this all the services that we offer free of charge. Um, the vast majority of the money that we raise or that we our finances in general are raised through donations, and very little bit of it comes from grants. So it's really important to us that anybody can receive our services free of charge. It doesn't matter whether they're completely broke or ridiculously rich. We all share the same ecological reality, and we need to connect with it in any way we can. So we just try to take money immediately out of the equation. The next step is land. Some people don't have yards, but they still want to help and they want a deeper understanding. They want to get their hands dirty, but you live in an apartment. Well, you can come and volunteer and work with us. Maybe you've built your own native plant garden and your entire yard is lawn free and is looking really great, and you want to do more. Well, you can come and volunteer and help. Maybe you have a lot of land, but you don't have the ability to work it. You're for whatever reason, people can come and help. So one thing that I like to think here is that if you don't have your own garden, you have the ability to garden all over the place. So, one thing we like to say, and hopefully you'll hear it a lot more, and hopefully we'll be able to do that, is we got you. The next thing is time. Now, time can come in many different ways. So some people don't, they have children and they don't have, their responsibilities are just overwhelming. So they don't have the time. But if somebody, and a few volunteers come in, we can remove a large bit of sod and get those plants in the ground right away. Maybe time has made you a little bit older and it's harder to bend over. You can't do all the weeding. Well, we can help you with that. Um, Maybe you have a lot of time and you're looking for a place to put your time that's in line with your values. Hey, we got you. Um, so so we like to call ourselves the organization. There are three of us here that are the employees of Adapt. Um, Stop sharing. This is a beautiful picture. I just love it. It's so cute. So I'm William Kirst. I am the founder, president of the board, and the executive director. We, are very small, and right now we just have a really tight-knit group. Someday maybe we'll grow it, and we would love to grow it with your help. I have been doing plant things since I was a little kid, and I love it. I also like to play guitar and I don't know, dance. I like salsa and bachata, and occasionally I juggle. Um, Kat, will you say hi?
I will, but yeah.
Unmute.
Hi, I'm Kat, and I work mostly on the landscape side. Excuse me. I also do dabble in this side as well, and like to make resources for the community supported ecology side as well. Yeah. Should I give more of a intro, or is that good? Okay.
And Kat will be doing the fourth lecture on the resources.
I make it stop.
Just hit mute on your thing. And Rachel, will you say hi?
Hey, my name is Rachel. I've been working and volunteering at Adapt Community Supported Ecology for about 3 years now. First volunteering and then started working after my first year of, you know, building gardens for people and realizing that it was so much more satisfying than any office job that I'd ever had. Um, yeah, I'm primarily the volunteer and project manager for the process of getting our gardens out. We're always working on improving that. It is a process. And yeah, I'm really excited to work with y'all. Should be a good time.
Don't allow her to diminish her role. She does most of everything, and she is the primary person you will speak with um, throughout your process as a community leader. So that's us. That's us after we built the garden. So, and then we have you, the current and future community leaders. It's we will be providing you with plants, we'll be providing you with logistics, and we'll be providing you with education in order for you to grow a deeper bond with your community. But you all will have a little bit of responsibility as well. And really, what we will have you do is that you come to these classes, you come to our in-person training, and then we'll give you a bunch of plants, and we'll provide 5 to 10 garden kits, and then you will provide those kits to your community and or plant them, and you can these will be your friends, your neighbors, family members, or just random strangers that you'll get to meet in the future. Um, the one thing that we really want to impress upon you and is absolutely mandatory is that this has to be fun for you. If it's not fun, then give us a call, send us a message, and we'll figure out what you're doing wrong so that we can find it. Because if you're having fun, then it's not a lot of time, but any kind of time that we put into something can really uh, seem like a drag. But if it's fun and you're meeting people, then the few hours that you commit will just fly by. So I'd like to quickly go over, actually, before I go over, in the chat, would you please tell us just a few things about you? Your preferred name, where you're from, why you're here, and what you'd like to learn. We're going to gather all that and use it against you in the future. Um, Another thing that I kind of thought would be interesting is could you also include maybe what you had for dinner or what you're going to have for dinner? I made a really great Thai red curry, but I didn't have rice noodles, so I used soba, and it was absolutely delicious. So write that in there. And now I'd like to tell you kind of about what our goal is for the 4 sessions that we're going to have. Um, Today is just a big hello, and what really it's just to hype you up. I personally love doing this because of a few different things. One, I love meeting people. I love hearing people's stories. Um, I can't even tell you how many times I've been almost like a quasi therapist because I just go to people's houses and um, ask them how their day's going before we're about to plant a garden. And it's really amazing to me the way that people open up and how quickly you can become, good friends with somebody. And then in the process of, doing that, or the excuse for doing it is that you're getting dirty and getting to dig in the ground and remove some sod and put in some native plants. To me, it's like mainlining joy. I just absolutely love it. And when I was just doing this voluntarily, I would do 2 or 3 gardens a day and would just feel amazing at the end of the day. Um, so really, it's really important that you all kind of get dreaming about this. So in a way, we're seeking to create a physical and cultural change in the world around us. And in order to bring that about, we need to dream. We need to just imagine something that kind of currently doesn't necessarily exist in our community. So we need to find the place that we want to be. I'm guessing that you all want to make the world a better place. So we need to find that in our heads and then just make it start to build it around us. So these classes are set up that you have the tools to guide the future of your community toward one of ecological and cultural health. Um, so the dream is where that begins. And this is something that maybe annoys some people, but I think it's really important, which is that to me, philosophy is just as important as practicality. Because without the philosophy, without like a guiding moral and ethical principle, then our work lacks meaning. And if you want something to believe, if you want somebody to believe you and to believe what you think you believe in, you really have to believe it. And I think it's an okay thing to believe. And I think all of us want to be happy, right? So let's start with that. So our second class is going to be about design. And for me, designing with plants is really fun, but design can be a much broader um, endeavor. And when we start to take into consideration, um, I think the emotional well-being of the people that we're planting for, and the fact that we want to do things like build community, then we can start to make a really profound difference. And it allows us to see our garden in different ways, and in many ways allows us to relieve ourselves of carrying the burden of the kind of environmental catastrophe that's going on. Um, so laying sod, planting the garden, cool. Planting native, yeah. Planting native with edible and community for the purpose of making people feel amazing, mind blowing. So our third class is going to be on plant ID and invasive species. This will probably be the most intense of all of the classes. There are so many other beings around us that most of us don't know them at all, and that's totally okay. We didn't grow up knowing our broader community of beings that are around us. So, in this week, we'll learn how to get to know all the greenery. Um, or at least I'll give you the tools to get to know all the greenery. Um, if you can see that a lawn has native violets and sedges, then you kind of already have a native plant garden, and then maybe you can just put a few more species from our kit in it. On the other hand, you'll want to make sure you're not planting into an area where there's a bunch of creeping thistle, which is this guy right here with the big fuzzy seed heads and the very fuzzy picture. Um, or goutweed or any of the really nasty rhizomatous species that might be around. Um, but we also want to make sure that like if you see a bunch of berries and you've heard of buckthorn or you've seen buckthorn and you've cut a lot of buckthorn down, that when you look at that plant, you don't say, "Oh, that must be buckthorn," whereas really oops, this is chokeberry, and that would be a plant that you would really love. It's a wonderful native plant. An important thing to remember about invasive species, native species, but really invasive species, especially when we go into other people's houses, is that there's no judgment about what people have. Um, People are contacting us because they know they don't know or they want some further involvement. So we have to find a way in which we can talk about difficult things without having any kind of judgment pass. Um, it's like the invasive plants aren't bad per se, but what they do to our ecosystems is probably not great if having healthy ecosystems is one of the things that, you find valuable in life. And talking to people about difficult things is a skill that is really, really important. And, I'm sure all of you've probably been following the news unless you're amazing and can just absolutely keep your head in the sand. But things seem kind of weird out in the world. And they don't seem to be getting better. So in this class, we're also going to talk about just how to accept others and I absolutely love it. And so I look forward to this. This is going to be heavy on science and heavy on philosophy and heavy on emotion. So the next class, the last class is going to be on resources. And mu despite Kat being the most ebullient person I know, she gets to teach the driest class. And that's because she's really good at it. So while this may be among the drier of the classes, it is probably going to be the most important as far as you being able to know what is available to you and how to use it. And, it's like a lot of us can be carpenters, but we don't know how to use the tools.
Yeah, but now I lost the picture.
I lose pictures too all the time. And so being able to use the resources that we have available to you will not only make it may make your job easier, it may not, it may be completely irrelevant, but what it will definitely do is increase your ecological knowledge a great deal. and allow you to share the message of ecological being to a much greater degree than you would otherwise be able to. Um, and our resources are set up to allow you to learn and to work as independently as possible. And also importantly, to allow us to track what you're doing and then communicate it to the public. Um, the as our goal is getting people to understand their ecosystems, what I like to say is that we're trying to meet people where they are in their ecological journey and then get them to the next step and help guide where they can go. And the resources are kind of like the path. So if you know how to use these and you know what we have available for you, then you can give them to the recipients of our services. And that will make a big difference to them and hopefully to you. Um, so we have a bunch of online resources. But what I would like to ask each of you, if you haven't already, please, follow us on all these things, and make sure that the people that you work with know that we are also on these. Um, if you don't do social media or if you're trying to get off of it, you know what? I'm just going to say just get off of it. It's not really that good for any of us. We haven't, evolved. Our brains haven't evolved enough yet to have this constant stimulation in a way that works well. So also don't be, this is something that if it's useful for you, please use it. If you do use it, please follow us and ask others to do the same. But don't feel like you have to be compelled to do it. Um, so finally, our in-person training is on May 17th. It's at the same place that this picture right here was taken. We're going to be working on another part of this person's yard. They have a nice parking space. They allow us to host our event there. So in turn, we plant garden kits and we break up into teams and we learn how to plant these kits. Um, Please make sure that you RSVP for this because we will be providing a light breakfast, lots of coffee, and lunch. And we want to make sure that we have you all well fed and we don't have too much leftovers that we have to force upon our children. So in our in-person training, you all will learn the ins and outs of actually planting a garden and how to do it quickly. So we'll focus on the tools and the techniques that you can use to create these healthy gardens quickly and safely. And you'll also get to take home your plant kits. Also during this time, we'll have a few discussions about, some of the things like the harsh realities of dealing with nature, which is that it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you cut yourself. Some of the plants you might put in might just get completely demolished by deer. Oh well. Um, so now we'd like a word from our Grosse Pointe Park community leader, Kelly. And Kelly, would you like me to pull up yours or can you share?
I think I can share. Let's see. Is that is that does that look good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, hi everyone. My name's Kelly and I'm from Grosse Pointe Park. This will be my second season. So last year was the first year that I joined on as a community leader and I was really just really drawn to the mission. I started following Adapt, for a few years ago. And just saw all the cool things that you guys were doing. And once I heard about the community leader program, I was really mainly interested because I wanted to get, the plants into our community and I was already kind of doing that work. So just quickly a little bit about me. So I've been gardening with natives for about 5 years now, so not super long. And I started Detroit Butterfly Nursery with my daughter back in 2020. We started with a small little pollinator garden, and we were raising monarch butterflies at a flower farm in Detroit here. And so I was really drawn to native plants by insects and gardening in general. So I didn't have a lot of experience, but now that was another reason I wanted to join as a community leader to just keep learning because there's just so much to learn. And you can kind of see some of the other organizations that I'm involved with here in my community. And so bringing this program was a great way to keep making connections. So I just wanted to share some of the gardens that I did last year. So this opportunity kind of happened even before the in-person training. So I had signed up and everything, and I was just learning about the program. This is my neighbors across the street. They're in their late 80s, early 90s, and I had never really had a lot of conversations with them. We've lived in our area or in our house for about 5 years, and had never really met them. And one day, I had started doing our front yard garden, right? So like I started with our pollinator garden in the back, but I was working out in the front yard and I saw them in this little area, kind of trying to pull some weeds out. And I walked across the street and started talking with them. And I found out that the woman had actually planted this little like cherry tree a long time ago. And that was her prized like azalea. And I was talking about how I could help her fix it up. And hey, I just became this community leader and we started talking. And so she signed up to get a kit. I cleaned up the bed a little bit, but I left her, her azalea where she wanted it and everything. Because there's no reason why we can't do things like that, right? When we go into a garden, we want to respect where everyone's at. And this was really just, physically they were not able to do any work in this garden. So it made me feel so incredibly good to be able to help them out. And we started talking about the plants that we were going to be using, and I was describing them, oh, you're going to get this beautiful purple bloom, from the geranium. And so this is after I had installed the plants for them, and the blue stem goldenrod actually the plants got big enough and bloomed, and she was just so incredibly happy. She sent me this text message, I visited your shade garden or our shade garden this afternoon. Thank you so much. So it just was such like a heartwarming experience to be able to do this and create community and also adding these plants to our neighborhoods. And this is a little picture of a little sweat bee that I saw buzzing around on the goldenrod. So another thing, so I'm involved in our city's beautification commission and I help run the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. So I had already had in my mind that I thought um, this would be a great fit for the KIT program. So at City Hall here, we have this bed where it's mainly all common milkweed. And so we're trying to work on diversifying it. So they applied for a couple kits. And you can see we kind of we took the front portion of some of those plants out, those daylilies and things, and then we got some drop seed in there, some rudbeckia and coneflower, and everything grew beautifully. And I even spotted this little red milkweed beetle taking shelter in the drop seed later in the season. So it was just a great way to start showing the city what could be possible with native plants, which was really a great opportunity. We ended up also doing another side that was just completely empty and plugging in some kits there. So, and we had such a long, warm fall that, even some of the rudbeckia bloomed. So, uh, that was really cool. And this is also such a prominent location, right? So we have our city hall on one side and then we have our library on the other. So a lot of people drive through this area, which is another reason why I thought it would be amazing to have, the kits and start adding native plants there. Um, so this was the first install where this was a complete stranger, like Billy said. Like sometimes you'll install for a neighbor or someone you know. But this was somebody that I did not know at all, and I didn't know what to expect. I set up the consultation, went over there, and she had, some things. I don't remember exactly what they were, but she wanted to remove some of them, and a lot of it is just kind of going in and talking with these people, and really a lot of it is listening, right, to try to get where they're at. And we started talking, and I was showing her the plants that we could put in, and then she said, "Well, but I'm allergic to bees, so I don't want any bees with any, in the garden." And I was really like taken aback. I think I like, after my meeting with her, I got in the car and called Rachel. And I was like, Rachel, oh my goodness, what do we do? And at the time, when she said that to me, I explained that, if you're going to have blooms, you're going to have pollinators, that's just part of, I tried to, say it in a very nice way. But the solution that we kind of came up with was, so in the kits, you'll have like your grass species and then your flowering species. And so we agreed to kind of just put the grasses closer to the front door, and then the flowering species further from that front entrance where they would be walking through. So she was pretty happy about that. And she wanted to do the red mulch, and I kind of had mentioned, like dyes weren't great, but this is what she wanted. So, it's kind of, you just got to meet people where they're at again and leave them with a happy feeling. And I think in the end, she really was happy with how it turned out. And I hope, I kind of want to follow up this year and see how things are going. So this project was someone that I didn't know, but was in, like, so if you're not familiar with Grosse Pointe, there's like different, Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Woods, Grosse Pointe City, and this person was in Grosse Pointe Woods. And I didn't know her, but it was just great that she signed up. So I was excited to see someone sign up in my area, and we were able to talk. And her situation was a little unique because there was a little bit of confusion. She wanted more than just what came in the regular kit, but you all worked that out with her, and I think this day between the two of us, we plugged like over 100 plugs in her front yard. So and it goes really fast. You'll learn a lot about like different techniques and tools and things that make it easy. But I really had a great time just kind of talking with her, getting to know her. And in the middle here, you'll see this is the garden care guide that you will get that you can give to the recipient of the garden, and it tells them, you write like exactly what plants you put in. It gives you a little bit about the historic ecosystem and like guard how to water and all of that. But I'm sure they'll go more into that as we go through the trainings. Um, and then this garden here, one of the things that I learned that was really great was at the in-person training was how to cut an edge, a natural edge. I did not know how to do that before. So that was a skill that I felt really great to learn. And you can see it really just makes a difference. So out of all the gardens, this was one where we were actually creating a bed. So, right, like the other ones I showed you, there were existing beds. So sometimes you'll see that, and then sometimes you're, trying to work with a person and see where a garden could fit in their landscaping. So this is the spot. I actually collaborated with this person didn't originally reach out to me. It was in East Point. So there was a leader, close by that had organized this. And it happened to be that this person, her daughter had taken, I used to teach baby sign language classes. And this was her daughter, like all grown up. And so we reconnected however many years later. So it was really special. And she was right there with us as we were installing, like, picking up worms. And, it was just such a great experience to be able to involve, right, kids and then the next generation and develop a love of gardening. And so you'll see here's a community leader in East Point that I worked with, putting the plugs in after we created the bed. And then you can see the little girl in the background. She was so excited to start watering, like, so I knew this garden would really, be something that was just going to be cherished and, explored and everything. So it was really a lot of fun to do this one. Her mom sent me this picture, uh, later in the fall. Big smile. I was just so, so excited to see, to see that. Um, and yeah, just a couple more resources. I know we're going to be doing a whole class about resources, but things that I use that I thought were useful was I believe it was a leader in Lansing, Angel, I think was her name, shared the Appointlet website, and I really liked using that so basically when you get a list of names and you're trying to schedule, the consultations or the installations, you can set up different days and times for them to choose from. And then it just sends out emails and reminders, and it was a great little system. It made everything pretty easy on that end because I'm not great with all the emails and tech stuff. So I really liked using that. The plant list, the garden care guides, like I mentioned, we do have a Facebook group for Adapt leaders, and there are tons of resources shared on there. Um, Adapt also has a YouTube channel. I don't know if it was on that list that you posted, Billy, but the YouTube channel, there is actually a video of the how to cut an edge, which I've watched and rewatched after doing it in person. So it makes it really, really helpful. And I also like to share that with people that you're helping do the installations or just whoever you're working with. So sharing out those resources. And yeah, I just want to emphasize like the connections that I've made in my community and beyond just by being a part of Adapt has just been amazing. And one thing to keep in mind too is like when you're going into it, don't feel pressured to feel like you have to know everything. Like even like if you don't know the Latin names, like I go in there and I totally fudge them and it's like totally fine. And you can kind of laugh together, but that we're just learning. And I don't think they expect you to be an expert in anything. They're just excited for you to be there and share in that experience with them. So yeah, that's why I put always learning. And this is my a QR for my like digital business card that goes to like my email and my website. So if you ever want to reach out or have questions, I'm totally open to that. So please feel free. But yeah, thanks for having me tonight, share my experience.
Yeah. Thank you. That was maybe one of the more moving stories I've heard. That was really incredible. Um, um, can I get you to stop sharing your screen?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to put my bee up there again, but yeah, I'll stop. That's what I do in the garden is I'm constantly taking photos and I'm big into citizen science, so community science projects. So that's another thing that I talk about a lot in my community.
That's awesome. And so that brings up a point that we'll talk a lot about at the in-person training, which is that one of the things that I want all of you to do is find the avenue of ecology that most inspires you and go deep into that because it's like, there's a saying, there's many paths up the mountain, but it all has the same peak. So, what the thing that inspires you to get into it, that energizes you, that you feel a lot of emotional connection with, it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that feeling that you're going to give to the people, and that you allow them to then have what's the word? I'm not sure the word I'm looking for. The you give them permission to feel okay taking their own path, and you give them the confidence to do it by having the confidence to do it yourself. So the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about our, maybe the funnest thing, the gateway drug to all of this, which is our garden kits, and we're going to have our executive coordinator, Rachel Lipson, share that with you. And Rachel, get up in that screen so everybody can see your face. There's Rachel, everybody. She's amazing, and none of this would work without her. So, while I'm off dreaming, she's taking care of business. So thank you, Rachel. And I'm gonna get back onto this and take it away, Rachel.
Awesome. Thank you, Billy. You're very kind. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about a little bit before getting into the garden kits, you can see these beautiful graphics that Kat made, that in this case are very small. But if you go look in your email, you will have links to a slightly larger worksheet with space to write your notes down about these different species, and also for the outline that I said I was going to send much earlier in the day, so I apologize, but it should be in your email now. Um, so kind of an outline of the process of getting these kits. People will go to our website, they sign up through the service request form. We ask them where they live. Um, we will ask them, have you talked to a community leader? And there's all sorts of other helpful information in there, like how to get in contact with them. Um, and we try to ask them a little bit about their landscape. You know, are you looking to put something in a shady spot? Are you looking to put something in the Sahara Desert? Um, and then we go from there. So that gives us kind of an idea. A lot of the time, people don't really know what they want. They just know that they want native plants. So a lot of that is just like understanding that, you know, that might be a little bit ambiguous from the start. And hopefully, we'll give you the tools to move comfortably through answering their questions and assessing a landscape for like good places and opportunities to make a native plant garden. Because we do want to put gardens in that have the best possible chance of surviving and thriving. It's really disheartening to put in a beautiful garden that immediately dies because groundhogs, or as someone pointed out, getting mowed, or um, just you picked the wrong kit. We are planning on, we do try to create kits that are robust so that you don't have to have like the exact soil pH down to be able to put something in that will do well. But like we wouldn't put a shade kit in like the middle of a parking lot. Um, so we will be asking people to sign up for this form. Um, I highly encourage you to find your planty friends and be like, do you want a plant kit? Because I could come hang out with you and plant plants with you. And it's a great time. You know, make sure that they indicate who they want, who they talk to, a community leader. So we'll get matched to them. Or you can always just email me. I'm info@adaptecology.org. Um, but that just it smooths the process. Um, we're basically going to have a frenzy of signups from Monday, April 21st to the training. We've done kind of a longer training in the past, or rather, not a longer training, a longer period of signups in the past. And that has resulted in kind of a confusing rolling basis for giving out plant kits. And so we'd like to have just a real a blitz of folks signing up, then we know who's getting kits, who needs what, and we can work our way through like those who maybe are on the wait list without it being you know, confusing, and also confusing to community leaders as to when things are closed or open and when they can refer people. Um, yeah, there's no such thing as nepotism. Tell your friends. Um, let's see. You will get a kit of your own. Because, you know, we really appreciate the time and the effort that you're spending here. And it's only right that you should, you know, have the opportunity to plant something beautiful in your own yard. Or in the median of a place adjacent to you, whatever you want. Um, so over the next couple of classes, we're also going to be asking you to like, you know, get a little bit more familiar with these kits. This will help you to answer people's questions, like how tall does this get? Is this poisonous to dogs? I don't think most things are, maybe the milkweed. But all these questions that will come up, and people ask you questions and you won't know them, and that's fine. As Kelly said, it's part of the learning process. It makes you way more approachable when you're not coming in from on high saying, I know all of the plants and everything about them and everything about this process. It's a collaborative effort. You're a person learning things and doing something really nice for another person. Um, and personally, that's a really rewarding and nice place to be. It doesn't have to, yeah, I don't know, anti-hierarchical praxis. But anyway, um, so these are some of the things that we will be talking about. There is a worksheet in that belated email, which you can take a look at. There's space for you to take notes. Um, I do want to specify something. The shade kit has changed a little bit. Um, I can send out, I'm going to actually put this in the chat for the moment, um, that we do have the bluestem goldenrod, which is Solidagocasia, but the geranium maculatum and the Carex rosea are just, nobody has them. They are out. We cannot get them, at least not in time to give them to you. So instead of those two species, there will be Symphotrichium cordifolium or heart-leaved aster and what is it? Bottle brush grass, Hystrix patula. And I will put that in the chat, and also probably include it in an email and or update the. Did you know that Hystrix patula is autocorrected to Hysteria patella? Okay. Um, so, all right. So me and autocorrect have trouble with Latin names today. Um, we'll send you an update with those particular kits, and you'll have access to them. Um, we do try to have a couple forbs, which are flowering or herbaceous plants, and then a grass or a sedge. So you can see in the, thank you, Billy. Um, is there any way to make it larger, or you just?
No.
Okay. Anyway, uh, there's either a sedge or a grass, and then a couple of flowering species, because like both for texture and also grasses and sedges are um, really excellent for habitat and are kind of overlooked textural elements in gardens. And I don't know, they're great. Okay, Billy, how am I doing on time? Am I done?
Yeah, I'm
Should
gonna
I?
steal it from you.
Yep. All right, go for it. Thanks, Al.
Yeah. So a fun thing that uh I'm just gonna pick on the two other people who have spoken now. And this will be fun during the this will be fun, especially fun and important during the plant ID course, which is that grasses and sedges are both flowering plants. They are firmly within the flowering plant category. They just don't have showy flowers. Some of them have showy flowers. So we often will call grasses graminoids and wildflowers we'll call forbs. I don't know where Forbes comes from, but if you ever hear somebody say Forbes, they're generally talking about showy wildflowers. And maybe we'll get into that distinction, but occasionally, especially if you're in Ann Arbor, we do courses over the winter, and maybe we can someday get into why grasses are flowering plants. Um, so thank you for that, Rachel, and thank you for all your work getting all of these plants. Um, so I want to go back to that. We just have a few more slides here, and I want to go to the homework slide. So this is a really important thing. Um, we can do we can give you a lot of information, and hopefully we present information in a way to you that is sensical and that you can use. But we can't actually do the learning for you. So, uh, kind of a big problem with, I think just modern life is that a lot of our information gathering now is passive, in which we get online and we just take something in and hope that we're learning about it without doing the kind of requisite work to requisite and iterative work to actually get the information stuck in our brain. So I want to really heavily compel you to take your time with this worksheet and actually do it. Um, Research each plant, write all the kind of physical characteristics of the plant down, take a look at a lot of pictures, draw them. Like you can see, the difference between that butterfly milkweed and the sand coreopsis is incredible in the flower structures. I mean, both of those have just ridiculously beautiful flowers, and they're so intricate. Draw them out. Do anything that you can to give yourself a deeper connection with learning in general, and you will learn things much more deeply and much more quickly. And the cool thing about the availability of information is that we can go down rabbit holes and we can find things that are really interesting to us. So, for all of these plants that you'll be researching, find something that's really interesting about the plant to you. Something that's easy about milkweeds is that they are the larval host plant for monarch butterflies. But did you know that they are also the larval host plant for 10 other species of native Lepidoptera? Look into what those are. Do whatever it is that you can to just give yourself a deeper connection with it and deeper understanding, and you will, I think, be rewarded greatly. Um, so then the last thing is that we have a suggested reading, and I'm going to guess that a lot of you have probably read this book. That's kind of, uh, I don't want to put it on that level, but it's biblical in nature in the ecological world. What I like to say about this book is that it teaches you, um, it gives you talking points about ecological restoration through native plant gardening. What this book will do for you is fill in a lot of the background information that you kind of know, but you don't really know. And reading this book you can point to specific things that you can actually talk about. Um, Again, I'll say that anything that helps you learn and gives you deeper access to what's going on in the world around you is going to be personally rewarding and is going to make you a much more compelling conveyor of the information. And as I said at the beginning of the class, um, people will believe you if you believe in what you're saying. And the more you know and the more you understand nature and the more you like get into the complexity of just how fascinating it all is and get to that sense of awe and where you can describe some just minute portion of it, but you know that even this like tiny bit you're describing is so fascinating and yet it's so small. People will just understand that. They'll just get you. They'll be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And that's how you really make an incredible connection with the people that you're working with. So I highly recommend this book. And I didn't write this down, but I just finished it today and I would I would just feel wrong if I didn't recommend it. And so I listened to it on Spotify, and it's a book called 4,000 Weeks, which is it's like 4,000 weeks making the most of your time, and it's basically like, hey, you got 4,000 weeks on this earth. How are you going to use it? And it's not one of these like time management books, like which is like you make lists and then you check them off, or like make sure you wake up at 4:30 a.m., but it's more of like a perspective on understanding time. And one of the things that the author talks about, is just the way that time changes and the way that you feel differently about how time appears in your life when it's done with community and when you're not trying to sequester time away from community. And I'm gonna buy this book because listening to it again is a passive form of understanding and taking in information. So I really want to dig into this one. But the book is called 4,000 Weeks. I don't know the author's name. He was on the Ezra Klein show a few weeks ago. Um, so I just want to say to all of you, even just with this step, thank you so much for being a part of our community. I hope that our actions are able to really show the thanks and the gratitude that we have for you and being part of this. And I hope that that's something that we can give to you and that you will take out into the world yourselves. So, um, with that said, I'm going to ask if you guys have any questions. And because there are 36 people here, I'm going to ask that you put your questions in the chat and we can take it from there. So if you have some questions, take it away. I will chew on some ice in the meantime. Thank you, Loris. It's such a good book. I can't even possibly describe to you. And so I'll say a few more things while we're waiting for any questions. If none of you have questions, um, come on. So, Hystrix patula is the old name for bottlebrush grass. It was reclassified into the genus Elymus, which also has the wild rise and one of our favorite non-native species, quackgrass. So it's Elymus hystrix.
I've developed a very good rapport with Stantec in the last 2 days, so I will let them know that their nursery is wrong.
Uh, Okay, let me see. So in the past, I've tried to join community gardening efforts. I wound up feeling like I wasn't knowledgeable enough to be helpful. I know I'll learn a lot during this class, but could I do all of my project in teams? Yes. So one thing that we want to do, and the reason why we opened it up to so many people this year, is that we do want to put people in teams, in part for the knowledge base, and so there's a little bit more confidence, but also because if you are going to be doing something like removing sod, man, it is good to have somebody who can do it because sometimes it's really hard. And and I'll say another thing, which just like Kelly alluded to, don't think that you have to know everything. I do this professionally and I don't know everything. Not even close. I'm a moderate botanist, but mostly what I am is I'm a great salesperson of native plant gardens, and I'm pretty good at them putting them together. So I to this day will call up a lot of the contractors, and ask them for advice on how to do something. So yeah, definitely don't feel like you have to be an expert. Are you getting an email with the homework, Rachel?
This is a great question. I generally feel like people hate getting a lot of emails, and I feel like I've been sending y'all a lot of them. But if people are okay with like a post-class follow-up email with the homework, I just don't want to spam people.
So the homework wasn't include that like notes and homework email was not sent out earlier?
The homework is not included in the notes as far as I saw it.
Oh,
This
okay.
what you put on the slides was not in the template that I received.
There should have been two attachments. We'll make sure that you get that homework.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a worksheet. There's
and a
definitely a
worksheet,
work.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So
it just doesn't include instructions.
yeah. So the worksheet that you got in your email is the homework. So fill that out.
And bonus points if you do it for the bottle brush grass and heart-leaved aster instead of geranium, but like that was our fault. Sorry.
Send another one out. We can send another one out if you want.
Brush.
We could also put these on Google. I wanted to send it as an attachment as a PDF in case people didn't use Google, but we can do it all on Google Drive if you want. Yes, these classes will all be I'm aiming for 45 to 50 minutes with 15, 20 minutes of questions afterwards. So, question about plant kits. Is there a time limit deadline for finding places, community members for kit recommendations? There will be hundreds of people who sign up for kits. We will not be able to provide kits for all the people who sign up for them. So Yeah, you'll will y- yes. I'm also hoping for teaming up. Great, cool. Get to know the plants and the kits on the list. Yes, Joe. Hystrix is the Latin word for hedgehog. Awesome. It makes sense. Bottle brush grass, literally, when it flowers, it looks like a little bottle brush. It's spiky. Um, are there any other questions? Sounds like we will get assigned 5 to 10 garden installs from the list of folks who sign up then. Yes, installs and or giveaways. So that will be decided with the recipient of the kit. Um, and you know, will and in our conversations with you, if you're like, yep. So I don't know, maybe Kelly, you could speak to how many you did, but we have a community leader in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and she did 10 installations and then called us up and was like, "Can I have 10 more kits? I want to do 10 more." And we gave it to her. And so there is a certain theoretical limit to how much money we actually have to put into the kits. But sky is kind of the limit. Um, mm, 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 mm. And you know, another, you know, kind of good thing to mention is that, and we'll talk about this a lot at the community leader training, and be prepared to tell people that the only reason that we're able to offer these things free of charge is that we raise money from donors. What I like to do, and the reason why we called it community supported ecology, is that we kind of thought about it initially as a community supported agricultural kind of model in which everybody just puts in a little bit of money. And if everybody who receives one of our services donates at like $5 a month, and every year we get more people, then more money is going into that pool, and then we can serve more people each and every year. So you know, that goes for you all as well. If you can donate on our Patreon page or through our website, really even like $2 a month, it makes a difference. You know, if 32 people donated $2 a month, that's $64 a month. Every 2 months, that's another garden kit. And that makes, you know, you just go up, you double that, $4 a month, all of a sudden that's a kit a month. Which is, you know, kind of amazing the way those things work. We like the Bernie Sanders model. You know, we have 7,800 small donors. What happens if a friend out of state or up north asks for a kit? If you are out of state, then you know, we want you to focus on your community that's right around you, a place where you're going to make an impact. If a friend from out of state requests a kit, ask them to become a community leader next year. Um, okay, so you can see in the chat, Kelly installed 7 kits and gave away 7. And then Joe installed 1 kit and gave away, we'll just say you gave away 7. So giving away is dropping off a kit and install it. Yes. So what I like to do when I was actively doing them all myself is that I actually had people come to me to pick up the kits, and I would give them like a really short consultation, and I would generally, you know, I mean, I the first year, the first 2 years, I mostly did it all by myself, and probably that second year, I probably did like 100, roughly 100 myself. I installed 53 and then gave away um, just around 50 kits. And so when I was giving away the kits, I used the Appointlet app and had people set their times where they would come to my place, and I just had a few days in a row where I had people coming. Um, every half hour, and I would talk to them for 15 minutes and give them their kit, and then you know I'd go to the bathroom, and then you know somebody else would come. Um, the installations, and we'll talk more about this in the in-person training. The installations, I say you allot 3 hours. If I did an installation myself, even with removing sod, it would probably take about 45 to 75 minutes. Um, If you're not used to, just pounding away at sod, that's probably going to take you a little bit longer. So I say generally a lot, 2 to 3 hours for each installation. If you're able to bring friends, you have a few people doing it. If you encourage the homeowner to bring their friends, then, it can happen really quickly. And so when Rachel was a volunteer, what I ended up doing most of the time as the community leader is I told everybody what to do and I stood around and talked about the plants, things I liked, and yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun for me. And it can be fun for you if you get volunteers to help. You can take on a managerial role, um, which is fun. Anybody else have any questions? What about any comments? And totally all right if you don't. It's getting pretty late. Uh, yeah. So you put up,
I don't know if that works.
let's see. Yep. So Kat put up,
It might work for you.
oh, can somebody click on that Google Drive link that Kat just put up in the chat and see? Um,
We don't have access.
okay, so you share anybody that has the link. Kat can make things happen better than anybody I know. Yeah, so keep trying. Let us know if that works. Under pressure.
You might have to like refresh cache or something. It might not really rework for anybody that's already clicked it. Or you might need a new link.
Oh, Amy says she got it now.
Got it.
Good, cool. Oh, by the way, Joe right there. Joe is one of our community leaders, and we have he maybe one of the best humans I know, allows us to be at his house, and our nursery is held at his house. Does it look a lot nicer today? We finally cleaned it up.
Yeah, it's looking tight.
Good.
The you get that big tarp down there, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. You don't have to do any mowing.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there one last chance, this is your last chance until next week. All right. So do your homework. Listen, you can listen, you can both read and listen to the books. I've actually heard that Nature's Best Hope is all right listening to it, but I highly encourage active um, intellectual endeavors instead of passive acceptance of knowledge. Um, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you in 1 week for our design course. Bye bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Kelly, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun. I hope it was okay.
It was incredible. Holy shit.
I thought of like a million other things I could have said about each thing, but yeah, I wanted to keep it kind of short, but um it was fun. It was really fun to put it together and like reflect back on the season and think about like it got me fired up for this season, you know?
Yeah.
See like,
It was perfect.
oh good. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Good job.
Yay. Well, I think we have a little bit of light left, so I might run outside and work on the pond a little bit before I go to bed. All right.
Sounds
Good to
great.
see you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and your mushroom overalls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Aren't they sweet?
They're so cute. Oh my God.
Very
Okay.
excited.
Work on your
Good luck.
pond. Sorry.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
They're cute. All right, bye bye, Kelly.
Bye.
You guys are in the grass.
I was inspired by the sweat bee photo. I was like, we too
You
could
wanted to
be
be a
little,
sweat bee.
a little bug in the grass.
You're gonna get so dewy.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That went really, I think that was, yeah, like worked out some kinks. Is it recording still?